Well, everyone, it's now time on our show to start turning our attention to the Adelaide Fringe Festival that is about to get up and running. And one of the shows that we're really, really excited about at this year's festival is called Broadway Diva. So we thought today we would get the star of the show, Olivia, and also the director, creator of the show, on the show just to chat a little bit about what we can expect with this show, and because I know a lot of you are looking forward to it. So first of all, Carly, you are the creator and director of this show. Tell us a little bit about this show and what we can expect from this show.
For sure. So I'm very proud to be directing this one. It's my second cabaret, but 20-something show in the last couple of years. And when Olivia and I co-created this performance together after I directed her last show, Puppets. And so we started talking a lot through rehearsals about those songs that you just can't forget, and you leave the theatre and long after you're gone, they're still haunting you, and how much that represents our love of musical theatre and how this art form has that ability to transcend time and just to stay with you, and how comforting and inspiring that is, and how much as artists we, hope and dream to make the same sort of thing. And so we kept having this conversation, and it led us to think that we needed to make a show about those songs that we can't get out of our heads. And we think that a lot of our audience also can't get out of their heads.
Yep.
And Broadway Diva was born. And so this is a show about earworms. It's that song that just sticks with you. And it's simply a complete celebration of our love of this art form and our love of the community that surrounds this art form.
Definitely. Now, Olivia, as the star of the show, what were your thoughts when you and Carly first started talking about this show, and what were some of the earworms that you started to think about straight away?
Well, I think my initial thought was, oh my gosh, yes, I get to sing every single song in the music theatre canon that I've ever wanted to sing. So as a performer, you sort of get told a lot what you can and can't sing in terms of repertoire, because a song is overdone, or oh, we've heard that 1,000 times. And those are the songs that you really grew up listening to and you want to sing and you love to sing. So when Carly and I started to have this chat, I thought, oh my goodness, yes, finally I can sing I Don't Know How to Love Him from Jesus Christ Superstar, because this is a show about songs like that and nobody's going to tell me no because it's literally in the title. So, I was very excited, and I love working with Carly, and we worked, like Carly said, we worked together on Puppets, and we had an absolute blast, and we love creating theatre. So, just it's an awesome opportunity. But yeah, look, I said, in terms of what we're going to sing in the show, I suppose you'll have to buy a ticket to find out the full list.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give that out. But yeah, there is some crackers in there, like I Don't Know How to Love Him from Jesus Christ Superstar. We've got some great medleys as well, some classic music theatre medleys, and some funny medleys. There's contemporary music theatre, there's classic music theatre. There's something for everyone. There really is. But yeah, it is a show about that love of theatre and those songs that you just keep wanting to play over and over and over again.
Definitely. Now, Carly, once you started to throw around some of the names of the songs that you wanted to include in the show, how long did it take then to bring it all together into the show that we were going to see at the Fringe Festival?
As soon as we started talking, we just, what took longer than thinking of the songs for us was cutting our list back to fit it into a neat 1 hour wonderful Fringe experience. We both just went, we spitballed. I was overseas actually working on a show, and so we jumped on Zoom and we went, okay, 1, 2, 3, what are all the songs and all the shows you want to represent? And we built this amazing list. And then it felt like picking your favorite child. And now we have this wonderful song list that we think really should speak to a huge range of people's love of theatre. We've tried to, as Liv said, we've gone for some of those big famous songs that, yes, we are told are done too often, but never mind, this is our show, we're going to sing them anyway. And we've also included some more modern pieces of theatre that we think will speak to younger audiences as well. And, we want to infect everyone with a love of theatre and a love of musical theatre at that. And, you know, we've got a few sneaky inclusions in there to celebrate Liv's gorgeous talent. She's a beautiful opera singer, so we have to, that there's a reason for the title Diva in there, and that's the little hint on the operatic inclusion. But we're very lucky, having worked together now for the last year on Puppets, which then went from Sydney to Melbourne and on to Edinburgh. We have built a great working relationship, and so as soon as this idea clicked, from there we were just steamrolling ahead.
Definitely. Now, Olivia, for you, as you said, these are tracks that you've grown up loving and that you've loved to perform, and now you get to perform them in this show. Does that change how you approach the show? Like, is there a more personal kind of feel for you for this show because these are tracks that have meant a lot to you over the years?
Oh, absolutely. So, massive sort of part of the show for me was my grandmother. She passed away in 2020. And she was a huge inspiration for me. So growing up, she would watch all of the old movie musicals, and she actually took me to see my first musical. So she had a huge impact on my life. So getting to sing all of the songs that she loved to listen to, and I know that she would love to hear me sing, is incredibly, incredibly deep and meaningful. And I think it adds another layer to the show. So it's not just a show that you come to listen to the great hits of music theatre and opera. It's a show that does have incredibly personal meaning, and I think that it will mean a lot to people because they may relate to that in their lives.
Yep.
So yeah, it didn't change the way we definitely approached the song list. Like Carly said, we really went for it.
Yeah.
But there was definitely that layered element there when we came to discussing, you know, what golden age songs and what classic music theatre songs were in there, and there was a deep discussion around my grandmother. So yeah.
Awesome.
And how we could really use the show, I'll just add to what Liv said there, how we could use this show, A, to celebrate the community and the art that we love and respect, but then also really to take the chance to thank those who gave us this inspiration. So Liv, it was her grandma, mine certainly a familial passing down as well. And so to stop and acknowledge, you know, the people in our lives who gave us this passion, shared theatre with us to start with, introduced us to this world, and still stand by us, supporting us wholeheartedly as we chase this crazy dream that is theatre. And so this is very much a little thank you note to our families and friends from the two of us.
Yeah, so Carly, talking about chasing that crazy dream, I wanted to talk a little bit about your career. I believe you've just got back from New York. Tell us a little bit about that adventure, what that was like, and what you learnt about theatre while you were in New York.
Absolutely. So I was very lucky. I've run my own company now for the last few years, but post-COVID, I was approached by some incredible up-and-coming Australian female writers, and Liv was one of them, and we did our show, and I worked on some others as well throughout last year, and they led to me getting to, in separate trips, make my directorial international debut with Puppets at the Edinburgh Fringe, and my producer's international debut with The Culture off Broadway in New York. And I have grown up with such a love of New York. I was so fortunate to start visiting there at a very young age, and with friends and family there, I've gone right through my life and often. And this was my first trip going back to actually get to work on a show. And, you know, despite it's a 50-seat theatre off Broadway, but it felt magical to me. It felt like such a full circle moment because this is where the dream started. And then 6 years ago, actually only 6 blocks from the theatre, I made my producer's international debut. Was where I decided that I would leave the path I was taking of being an educator and move to devote my whole life to trying this, at least for 10 years. And 6 years later, I got to make my off-Broadway debut, and that was an incredibly special moment. What I learned about theatre there, Gosh, I mean, I saw over 40 shows in the weeks that we were there, just trying to lap up as much as I could and be inspired by, you're watching people at the very top of their game in New York. So how are people considering transitions and lighting states, and how are they using sound to completely elevate the story to a new level? As a director, all of that stuff was so inspiring to me and just had my brain ticking for 6 weeks straight. There was no break time. So that was an incredible opportunity to really just get to absorb as much as I could, like a little sponge. But I also learned that it's, not that I think anyone would look at it and go, oh, that's an easy thing to do. It's not. It's a very hard thing to do. And, there's a huge amount of competition in New York. It's not easy to go up here in Sydney when we, are going up with a musical. We're only ever up against maybe 3 major musicals at the same time. There you have 40. So, it's hard to sell it, but when you do, it's so rewarding because the audience is so invested in success of artists there, and it's a beautiful culture behind that mentality. And I think that's what's exciting about coming to the Adelaide Fringe again. This will be my 3rd time directing and producing it at the Fringe, and it is that same atmosphere of everyone here wants to see art and wants to see artists succeed.
Definitely, that leads into my next question as well for Olivia. How great is it that we're back now with live theatre shows after the rough couple of years that we had? How does it feel for you as a performer being back with Adelaide Fringe and having audiences once again in Australia? Oh, we might have just lost Olivia there for a second.
That's all right.
Carly.
Yep, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah. So Olivia, I was just asking, how does it feel after such a rough couple of years with the pandemic here in Australia? How does it feel being able to be back out there and performing in front of audiences, especially at Adelaide Fringe?
Oh, look, it's not easy to put into words what that means. It's an incredible sensation. I mean, like Carly said, what we do is hard. So every time we do get an opportunity to do it, we love it and we embrace it and we soak it up because it's an incredibly inspiring moment. So 2 years of sort of being locked inside and not being able to perform at all, it was draining as an artist. I think that's the only way I can put it, and I think any sort of creative or artist will understand what I'm talking about. It was not easy. It wasn't easy on anyone, but particularly as someone who thrives on sharing stories and creating art, it was an incredibly difficult time. So when we got out of the pandemic and writing sort of Puppets, my first show, and then being able to tour that and put it in front of audiences literally around the world, that was just, I can't even describe how mind-boggling it is that I had the opportunity to do that, and I still can't get over it. So to be doing a second show in the span of, 12 months with Carly and taking it to Adelaide. I've never been to Adelaide Fringe before, so I'm so excited. It's my Adelaide Fringe debut. To be able to do that is just, it's indescribable. That's what it is. I'm so grateful and humbled and, just honoured to be able to share stories and art with people again.
Definitely. Now, for all of our listeners out there who I know are heading to Adelaide to go and check out Adelaide Fringe, Broadway Diva is on from the 21st to the 25th of March at the Barbara Hardy Garden at Holden Street Theatres at 32 to 34 Holden Street, Hindmarsh. All the show times and everything like that are going to be up online, and you can book through the adelaidefringe.com.au website. And I guess to finish off, Olivia and Carly, what would you like to say to people out there who are thinking about heading along to check out Broadway Diva at Adelaide Fringe?
Liv, I'll jump in if that's okay. I know that through a Fringe festival, it is so hard to decide what to see and where to spend hard-earned dollars and very precious time. I know it's very tough, but we would absolutely love to share this moment of going down this memory lane of theatre. And I hope that you'll pick this show because you can hear our passion for it and because you love musicals, you love a good song, you want to see some great talent in Olivia, and you'll join us for a night under the stars, celebrating all that is the magic of musical theatre.
Definitely. Olivia, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Oh, no, look, Carly sums it up pretty beautifully. Basically, book your tickets. It's not one you want to miss. Like, this is a show that we know is going to tour and we know is going to go places, and it's its world premiere in Adelaide. Like, you want to see it now before it hits all of the major cities.
Definitely. And again, for all of our listeners out there, if you do want to head along and check out Broadway Diva, you can go to the adelaidefringe.com.au website to get all of that information. But for now, I just want to thank you, Carly, and thank you, Olivia, for coming on our show today to chat about this wonderful show, and we're hoping that a lot of our listeners will head along to check it out.